Grounding techniques for anxiety and dysregulation. What is grounding? Grounding is a type of coping strategy that supports emotional healing. It can help an individual feel safe, centered, and present, allowing them to experience emotions like joy or anger without becoming overwhelmed. Each method is designed to ground the individual, in other words, immediately connect them with the present moment. Grounding is also known as centering, distracting, or creating a safe space. Basically, the individual is reminding themselves that they are no longer in the same environment or situation that caused the distress. Emotional and physical activation. Some individuals who have experienced various levels of trauma can become activated long after the negative event has passed. At times, the individual may be activated by a particular situation, but other times it may be a mere thought that causes it. Once activated, they may experience heightened emotions, increased anxiety, or unmanageable distress. Grounding is especially helpful in this situation as it can immediately help the individual calm themselves. Categories of grounding techniques. There are 4 basic categories of grounding techniques. They include mental grounding, soothing grounding, physical grounding, and senses-based grounding. For each category, I will discuss the main purpose or goal and describe several of the grounding techniques that fall under that category. Mental grounding. Mental grounding centers on focusing your mind and bringing it back to the present moment. Some examples include self-affirmation, self-mental space, focused observation, focused task, and gratitude practice. Affirmations involve creating statements that enhance feelings of self-worth, adequacy, and value. Examples of affirmations include statements such as, I am loved, my feelings matter, I am good enough just the way I am. Safe mental space involves using your imagination to create an environment that makes you feel safe and secure. For example, imagining you are with a person you love or in a place where you are comfortable and happy, or picturing a pleasant memory in as much detail as you can. Focused observation involves focusing on one's surroundings. For example, mentally describing your environment, an object, or an everyday activity in detail. Or finding all the objects you can see that match a particular characteristic. For example, green objects or square objects. Focused task involves focusing on a task that requires deep concentration. For example, counting up and then back down again, or singing a familiar song in your head, or even imagining all the steps to prepare your favorite meal. Gratitude practice involves focusing one's attention on something other than oneself. For example, thinking about all the things you are grateful for, or thinking about someone special to you and citing all the things that you like about them. Reciting from memory involves centering yourself by speaking or writing or even playing something that you have committed to memory and that is meaningful to you. For example, reciting the words of a song, quote, or poem, or even playing a song on an instrument. Planning or research is a form of distraction in which you focus your attention on something you are looking forward to in the near future or investigating something that interests you. For example, planning a family dinner or researching how to make oatmeal cookies from scratch. Distraction involves centering oneself by doing something enjoyable. For example, engaging in a favorite hobby, watching a movie, cooking or baking, phoning a friend or family member. Soothing grounding is a type of mental grounding that focuses on words of kindness towards oneself in order to reshape inner dialogue. Repetitive mantras are similar to affirmations, but the statements are usually shorter, easier to remember, and are intended to be repeated in a rhythmic manner as a means of soothing. For example, I am in control, I am safe, I will be okay. Kindness statements involve speaking to yourself using unbiased, factual, and neutral language. In other words, talking to yourself with kindness as if you were speaking to a friend or a loved one. Physical grounding involves using techniques that help the individual connect with their body as a means of calming. Progressive muscle relaxation involves systematically tensing and relaxing all the major muscle groups in the body. This exercise acts as a way to consciously release the stress and tension we tend to hold in our bodies. Breathing exercises involve controlling one's breathing in order to relax, self-regulate, or control stress. One example is box breathing, where the individual inhales for 4 counts, holds the breath for 4 counts, exhales for 4 counts, then holds the emptiness for 4 counts. Another example is the 4-7-8 breathing technique, where the individual inhales for 4 counts, holds for 7 counts, and then exhales for 8 counts. Walking meditation involves walking mindfully. In other words, paying attention to the way your body moves and how your feet connect with the ground. The object is to concentrate on the present moment and fully feel each movement. Simple yoga poses can help an individual refocus their attention on their body and the present moment. One example of this technique is the child pose. While kneeling on the floor, the individual bends forward until their torso is level with the floor and their forehead touches the floor in front of them. Arms can be stretched out in front or placed to the side. Another example is the tree pose. Stand with both feet hip distance apart, facing forward. Lift one leg and rest it on the inner thigh. You'd focus on balancing your body. And then do this on the other side. Sensus-based grounding can be connected to physical grounding. It focuses on tangible things that surround you and help reorient you to the present. Focused observation involves scanning your environment for things that engage your senses. For example, the 5-4-3-2-1 exercise. In this exercise, the individual looks for and names 5 things they can see, 4 things they can touch, 3 things they can hear, 2 things they can smell, and 1 thing that they can taste. Engage the senses by seeking out things that stimulate them. For example, engage your sense of sight by sitting quietly and observing your surroundings or by watching people. Engage your sense of sound by listening to music or ambient sounds. Engage your sense of smell by enjoying the scent of essential oils or by sitting outdoors and taking in the natural scents in the air. Engage your sense of touch by taking a shower, bath, or by holding and touching a special object, such as a rock or a ring or a piece of clothing. Engage your sense of taste by savoring the taste of something sweet or sour, or by concentrating on the complex flavors of a nice meal. As you can see, there are many grounding techniques that can help reduce anxiety and promote self-regulation. To start, try testing out a few to see which ones appeal to you the most. And remember, grounding is a skill that takes time to master. So be patient with yourself.